your account. So now I'm recording the session. So I will be using two accounts because this is my account, but we also have a playground account that our developers created for us, in order for you to see truly how a patient will greet you and what you should do afterwards. So this is my account, and the first step that I wanted to show you here is your profile. So this is where you'll be doing your professional validation. So adding here your CDR card. Some of you have already done it. The only thing that I wanted to bring attention to is making sure that your image is with good lighting, with a professional setting, because this will be sort of the first thing that patients will see when they look at your profile. Another thing is selecting here the profession, the card number that is already in the file. That's why the file that you sent us should mention the card number so we can validate the country, and then you just need to submit your information. This can be an image or a PDF, whatever works best for you. And then you just submit this information and we'll receive it, we will revise it, and then we will approve it or ask you to do some changes on it. So yes. Check the volume. Okay, so I need to put here a number. See, even I don't know how to do this. So the numbers in here in Portugal are a little bit different. So if I submit, and then someone from our team will validate this, and it will appear like a certified professional. If this happens, you can see that this is blocked, as well as your image and your name, because this is to allow us for people not to be changing that anytime. So if you do want to change your picture at some point, or to change anything about the name, because I know in the US there's also the abbreviation that you can use, please get in touch with us and we'll do it right away. So first step is validation. The second step is adding your Nutrium Care workplace, because it will help you organize better your schedule. So it's really simple. It's just create Nutrium Care in here. This is only for online appointments. And we did mention to set up to the color that you have of Nutrium Care. So it's the color blue, and then adding here this blue logo. So now I have created my Nutrium Care workplace. Once that is set up, you will see here, as it shows in this other account, because this account is really Nutrium Care, you will see that you will have a service that is called Nutrium Care, which you cannot alter as well the information of that. But you can change the workplaces that they are associated with. This is for you to better manage your calendar. So you will see this that is regarding Nutrition Care, and it's a service that will be connected to the program. So once you create that service is added by us. But right now, just for the example of how to set up the schedule, I will create that service, so online appointment, and I will create here the service that is Nutrition Care appointment. As you can see, it is connected to all of my working places, but I'm just adding here that I just want this to be connected to Nutrition Care. So why am I showing these little steps? Because this is very important for to creating the calendar. I don't know if you have had the chance to create here your work schedule, so your calendar. So this will be the main thing that will determine your availability to the program. And you can see here everything is blank, so no calendars have been set up by me. To set up my calendar is in here, in this little button, and in here you can personalize. So let's say that I can allocate my Tuesday mornings for Nutrition Care, and I can have Fridays the whole day for Nutrition Care as well. This is just an example. You can personalize for little slots of hours, so however you prefer. And you can see here, okay, that I have a different color that is addressed with Nutrition Care. But a girl's gotta eat, right? So you need to set up some time for you to be able to set up your lunchtime. So you can do this in two different ways. I'm going to show you one that is more streamlined and it can be done for all your schedules. So you can divide this in two different slots. So I have here this one until midday, and this one it's only starting at 1. And if I click save, you will see here the difference. And in this block, nobody can schedule an appointment, and I have this free slot available for my lunchtime. Other way would be creating an event that you can allocate to your lunchtime, but that will mean that you have to create one for every single day. So it's better to allocate the different schedule. But creating events is really interesting if, for example, you will notice that this calendar is the same for every week. So if you set out a weekly calendar, it's the same throughout the week. So let's say that from March 15, so in this week you do not want this calendar, or you want to update the calendar. So this can be added as a reminder or as an event to block time. So let's say that from this date on, so let's say March 17th, in here to the end of March, I do not want to receive bookings because I still have to revise my calendar. So I can block this. Yes. So I can block this and it will not allow me to receive bookings. But notice that I selected all day and I blocked here my calendar. And I can set up, for example, in 2 weeks before, just here a reminder to update my schedule. So this is just a way to help you better manage your calendar. And if you do not click block calendar, it will allow patients to book appointments with you. You can use these also reminders to organize your day. This is because Nutrium has the calendars for every week the same. So you need to be a little mindful of, if I need to change something, I need to remember to do that on the platform. Did this make sense? You, or it's a little bit confusing? So at first it might be a little bit confusing, but then you will get the hang of it and know how to use it better. So with these three things, now I have my workplace, I have the service, and I have my calendar. I'm almost ready to start receiving bookings. There's one little step that you need to do, because the software will not do anything that you do not allow it to do. So in here in settings, you just need to ensure that this section, appointment request system, is enabled. So we just need to make sure it will be by default normally, but just making sure is better. So in here, just make sure that this is enabled. So if I go to my calendar now, and now I'll see this link, and I can copy this link, and you'll be able to see here what your schedule will look like. So you can see that when a person books an appointment with you, it will reflect what you have set out in your calendar as well. So you can see here the last hour is 11:30, and then it's 1 p.m. So you can see here that the block that I have determined is already set for my patients. So without these steps, without seeing this link, it means that your calendar is not ready yet. So when you see this link being created, it means that your calendar is ready and your availability is set up for your patients. So this is the main step that you need to set up during this the next days in order to receive availability or receive bookings. The other that is also very important is creating your visiting card, and that is done in this section, so website and blog. And this is where you set up your website. So let me change to this one that it's in English. So this is where you will creating your online page. It's very simple. So Nutri took care of the entire structure. You here just need to create some kind of presentation, some kind of statement that really resonates with you and your practice. So something that people will read, and you know that you are reaching out to the right people that are reading this. So it's very simple, very easy to understand. And in About Me, what we ask you to do is to tell a little bit more about you, about your background, about your credentials, and the way that you normally work with your patients. So in here, you are free to write anything that you want. The goal that we normally say is to answer questions that a patient might have about me. So if they are looking at my profile, what do they want to know that I do that can help them and can resonate with them? Other than that, you can personalize your link. So it will generate a personal link about your website. You can personalize this as you want. Nutrium will also provide one by default, but you can always personalize it. So you notice that this professional is called Jen Smith and another Jen Smith RD. So in order to create more authority, and you can also link your social media if that's something that you think is important. Other very cool thing is that on this website, you can also create your blog. So Don, for example, you mentioned that you have a podcast, so you can promote your podcast in here. You can write an article promoting new episodes if that's something that you want to do, and be able to reach out to more people. And something that is exclusive to Nutrium Care, because it will also help our fields, is creating another small bio. It can be a little bit bigger than this one, but smaller than this one, in order to also help your patients identify quickly what is your approach on nutrition. In a second, I'll show you how will this look on the patient side as well. So this will adapt to the languages that you have told us that you are comfortable in providing appointments with. So, for example, when we talk with Lorian, we noticed that you are fluent in Spanish and in English. So you will be able to provide an English description and a Spanish one. So patients that reach out and have the language preferences of Spanish can see also this kind of bias. So this is important because we are able to adapt it to the various languages that you are comfortable in communicating with. Another thing is your workplaces, and also in Nutrition, you are able to create recipes and publish those. So if blogging isn't really your thing and creating recipes is, you also have here the opportunity to do so. Obviously, none of this is mandatory, something that it will increase not only your reach for Nutrition Care patients, but it also reach for other patients that are online and looking at your profile, because it is included in our search engine. So Nutrition already has some authority in terms of SEO, and it will be easier for people to find your articles and to find your recipes as well. So by adding these sections, this is what it will look like. So your blog, that little message that I mentioned about, it'll be shown here. Then the About Me over here. People can look at the blog and read your articles. And it also has a call to action to book an appointment with you. And then if they can see your social media here and book the appointment with you. So with this last step, absolutely ready to receive patient bookings with Nutrition Care. And before jumping on other steps of the platform, maybe you're curious to know how they do this. So right now I'm going to show you how that works. So this is something that only people that have access to Gympass can see. This is why I have this is an image. This is not the real app. But once they download the Nutrition app with Gympass, they have a small onboarding where they say their name, their gender, where they're coming from, And in case for the US, we are also asking the state that they are coming from. So it's something that you can see when receiving an appointment request, their birth date, and the reason why they are booking this appointment, if they have any food restriction concerns, and then they just access the platform. From there, the app allows for various different things. So they can track their order intake, they can track their workouts, they can track their meals. But the first thing, if they don't have a dietitian associated with them, what we'll be sharing is the opportunity to schedule an appointment, and then based on the things that they answered and the specialties that you have shared with us, we will suggest 3 professionals. So this depends on the specialties, depends on the availability, but we also make sure that our algorithm benefits everyone. So it creates some kind of balance between the people that are suggested. So they'll have 3 people, but they can always see all professionals. So imagine if you have a patient that you are seeing and the patient says like, hey, for example, my husband also has access to the gym pass and they want to book an appointment with you. You can tell them that they can book an appointment with you because they will always be able to see everyone that's in there. So you just tell them, look for my name and then request an appointment with me. So this is how it will look like on the app. So the page that I showed you, and I'll provide you the link, is something that is helpful for you to see how everything is looking. But patients that are coming from the app are going to see this, but it collects all the information you have added in there. So if I click in here, they will see my bio, the language that I speak, where I'm from, and also my schedule and my availability. And this is something that is not ready yet, but we are implementing because we are only starting. Once patients start giving you reviews of your appointments, this is something that will also appear in here. Obviously, we will curate these reviews and make sure that you also validate the reviews that are appearing in here, but they will be able to see other people that were struggling with the same thing and found their solution with you, and the story can resonate with them, and they can schedule that an appointment. After that, you're just clicking on the option of the day and then selecting the time. So this is what happens when a patient will want to book an appointment with you. What I'm going to show you now is simulating this in this page. Again, they'll do everything from the app, because I also want to show you how what kind of emails they receive and you are going to receive, and what you see on the platform as well. So now I'm going here to create a dummy email. So this is what we had. This is a solution we have like 3 months ago, and then we upgraded this to this version in the app. Okay. They can also choose the language, and this is according to what you have said to us, the language that you speak, and send you a message if that's something that they want to do. So I'm going to submit this request, and this is what I'll see. So this one is in Portuguese because I added the country in Portuguese. I actually should have added English, but this is for the patient. They see the description here. And this is for the professional. So you will be receiving on your email this information. So you have a new appointment request. Hi, Jane. The company is Gym Pass, the date of the appointment, the reason, the service from Nutrium Care online. And you have 2 days to answer this request because I booked an appointment in 2 days' time. You can click in here, answer request, and we'll direct you to the platform. But if you have Nutrium opened already, and this is something that you see here, I have now 4 requests that I need to answer to. You'll see here that my request appears in here. And what you should do is revise this request. And you can see here that it's part of Nutrium Care and they have access to all the features. And then you can reject and accept this request. What we always recommend you to do is accepting the request, even though imagine that you have to reschedule or you have to address any kind of information before. Because if you reject this appointment, you will lose access to this patient's information. So you will be no longer able to contact them. And we always recommend you to accept because you're now connected with that patient. So if you need to reschedule the appointment or anything at all, you have access to their email and you can contact them right away. And for them, it's easier if you help them to address anything that they need. So after you accept your request, we also have here a template message, and we will be sending that to you that you can send. We always recommend the first impression to be something that is welcoming and giving the patient information that they need to know. So we created a template message that I can send you here, but you can change this to whatever you want or whatever you normally do. This is not at all strict. So before a visit, you'll receive a questionnaire on your email, which is something that we also recommend you to do because it's really easy to save time during the appointment and to know more information. This is already clicked by default, so it will be sending them the questionnaire. The visit will be online. Please make sure you are in a good place with good connection, and so on. So you can personalize this as you want. And it's important to send this and also to associate with a video call service. As I said in our conversations, we will provide you access to Zoom that is HIPAA compliant, to a Zoom account, and you'll receive that invitation today, I hope, to join that. So the email that you have added here to Nutrium, or just let us know if you already have a Zoom account that you want us to add that. We will invite you to our organization, so the Zoom that you use within these appointments will be HIPAA compliant. Okay, so you'll receive that invite. So click in Zoom, and it's not integrated with Zoom, but I'll do that in a second. And then it generates a automated link, so you do not need to worry about anything else. And then just accept the request, and everything will be sent to the patient. Because this is a playground account that our engineers have done, I'm going to use my other account that is a real one to do this integration as well.
I had a quick question, if you don't mind. And you can answer this later if it is something that you're going to cover. But I noticed, so in the in the US, we have to only practice where we're licensed, and I know there's 5 states, Michigan being one of them, that are non-licensure states. However, even non-licensure states, they have like certain regulations to follow. So how do we filter that? So for example, I would see patients in Michigan, Texas, and Wisconsin where I'm licensed. How does Nutrium filter for that so we can make sure we're abiding by licensure laws?
Yeah, so as I said in here, it doesn't show like this because we're still integrated. So it says here reasons, language, and will appear the country and the state as well. So you are able to do that. On our algorithm, we also asked you this on the agreement to send us the states that you are licensed. So on our agreement, we will also have that information added to your profile in order to match you with people that are from those states as well. So you can see this. That is a very tricky subject, because a person can be from Michigan, but when they request an appointment from you, they can be anywhere. So it will be always very a bit difficult to always be sure of this information. But if you find yourself in that situation, this is something that we are also going to improve in the future. I know that when we provide nutrition coaching or nutrition counseling, which is a little bit more broad and not very specific to the person, there's no this kind of regulations. So if you feel like the person in front of you is not where they are supposed to be, you are always open to do that kind of other approach if that's the case. And from the people that we are seeing on the markets that we are encountering, the biggest reason for the appointment is either weight management or sports nutrition as well. So it makes it a little bit easier, but it's something that we're going to pay attention to as well to improve this. So we have our algorithm working. You have the access to the information here, but there always be those kind of people that do not. There are always the exception to the rule.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Good. So I was going to show you here where to integrate, which is also that's going to be important in the first phase. So apps and integrations, you can enable Google Calendar, and you can also enable here Zoom. So I've done this before, so it was really easy, but then you just need to, it will pop up another page, and then you have to link to the email that you have associated in there. Let me see if I'm missing something. Yes, I wanted to show you how it looks like with the sending the questionnaire to the patient. So let me just do this really quick. I'm going to just request another appointment. Okay. And let's see if you're able to see it in there. It should pop up. I think it's going to work now. Doing everything live is a little bit scary sometimes. So I'm going to accept this request, and what you can do is click here on Zoom, and it says generated to send to the client after accepting the request. You can synchronize with Google Calendar. This will be optional, but I do recommend you to synchronize it because it will link with other calendars you might have, and it will also send the patient reminders for the meeting. And then click in send the questionnaire and add your message here as well. So now I'm accepting the request. And in here, you can also see that the patient receives a lot of things. So here is what the professional receives. So you have a new appointment request. You can revise it on an email. The patient will receive the nutrition assessment form, which is an automated message that we have created. So this cannot be changed at the moment. And the patient just clicks in here in the questionnaire, and then they can fill out the information. So here are the questions that you can see. So what is the reason for this appointment? What do you expect from me as a professional? What are your goals? You can omit some of the questions. And right now, that's pretty much all you can do. You cannot change the questions yet, but you can omit questions that do not make sense. So I'm going to pretend some answers in here. Personal and social history, so bowel movements, for example, hours of sleep, if you're a smoker, if you drink alcohol, others related to dietary history, favorite foods, specific diets, allergies that they might have. If the patient is female, so also the medical history. If they're female, it will ask the information about previous pregnancies, for example. But if they're male, this step is skip, and then final considerations. And again, you can omit this question if there's something that you want to do. So the patient will submit this, and the information will be automatically added to the software. So I have accepted the appointment, and you can see here that on the patient profile that the following information has been registered by the client, and the information is already uploaded here automatically. So you do not need to worry about typing all of this, everything down, because Nutrium integrates this information. And during the appointment, you could just easily say, hey, so I know that you told me that your bowel movements are irregular. Can you explain me how long that's been going on? What do you mean by irregular? And complement what they have already told you. And you can conduct the meeting a more efficient way, having access to this information. So everything that we have translated into questions now appear here in this little blocks. If there's any information that is not here and you want to ask, what we recommended to do is register observation and then just type here any kind of information you want. You can increase the size of this to give you a lot of space to write, but you can type here any kind of data that the patient tells you, and it's always associated with the day that you are currently on. And you can type here as well the food diaries that they sent you, and address goals if there's something that they already told you. So if they told you in the conversation that I want to improve my bowel movement, so this could be a goal that you add. So you can have generic goals. So you just type in information and provide the client with a deadline, or some measurements that, for example, if they want to change their height, if you want to change their muscle mass, and so on. So we have a lot of different data that you can address here, and most of them you probably won't use, so don't not worry about it. And then you can upload files that the client sent you. Imagine that they send you their lab work or previous exams, or even pictures of before and after, for example. You can upload that in here. So this will be the place where you'll be registering all the information. Okay, did that make sense? Okay, great.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm full of questions. I apologize. You said that we could omit questions on the nutrition assessment. Is that like, can we create, I know you said we can't add or change questions, but where do we go to omit certain questions? Because a lot of them we may want to ask on the first visit, for example.
Yeah. That was going to be my last step, showing you this
Sorry.
configuration.
Sorry, I apologize. Okay, we can wait for it.
Okay. So that way I can show you here the how to start a meeting, and then manage the kind of, this is my day. This is the day that I'm having with Nutrium, the appointments that I'm having today, and this is how we're going to ask you to manage that. So these patients, for example, did not come to the appointment. So he told me to cancel, or he didn't show to the appointment. And what we recommended to do is click in here, cancel appointment, because that way we know that this appointment did not happen and are able to track this data and then work on solutions for it. It is not showing in this page that I have here, because this is a playground that the developers created, but we are adding here an option when you cancel the appointment to tell us the reason why. So the patient did not show, or I had some kind of unpredicted issue, or the patient told me to reschedule in advance, so we can better manage the dimension of the problem, if this is a problem at all. But imagine that the patient did not appear, so we just cancel it, and then the next appointment pops up. So in here, you can see that this is a virtual appointment, as everything should, all appointments should be with Nutrium Care. So you just click in here the link to open, and it will open a page right away. It just pops out, because it's not showing here. It just pops out from the platform. And then what we want you to do is click in start appointment, and you are able to see the same flow that I just showed you, but it has this little flag. So starting appointment and finishing appointment is very important for us to know that this appointment was done and calculate that at the end of the month from the appointments that you have given. So the main steps that we're going to see in order to provide you the last email with the service that you have done is clicking in start and finishing the appointment. What you do in between, it's totally up to you. You can skip the steps or follow all the steps that we have in here. So the first one is to type in the information about the patient. If you want to keep a record of everything, you can save this report into the software. It saves a PDF file with all this information. Imagine that you ask the patient to give you a food diary previously to the meeting. This is where you'll be seeing it. So they are able to register their meals within the app. So prior to the appointment, you can ask them to keep track of a food diary. And this is what you'll be seeing that what they did. And Nutrium also calculates the energetic value of this if they use our databases. In here is where you can register their measurements. So this information is only for you. The planning is where you can, if you do the meal planning and the calculations, if that's something that you normally do during your sessions, here is where Nutrition can calculate everything for you. If you create their meal plans, this is where you can add those foods for the client. If not, that is also totally fine. If you only do general recommendations, this is where we recommend you to add them. So a text of small goals to achieve or small things to keep in mind until our next session. So this is where you can add that data as well for physical activity, foods to avoid, and water intake. Since some of you work in eating disorder department, this might be a triggering term. So if you do not add any information in here, do not worry, because the patient will not even see this block at all. So this only appears when you add information to it, to the platform. In here, the analysis, you'll be able to see everything determined for micronutrients. And this is a little bit like this. So a platform, you might see that is a little bit focused in meal planning, because in most of the countries that you are currently working, this is a big thing when it comes to nutrition counseling. And from what I understand in chatting with all of you, it's something that is optional and only required when the patient really needs that. So you're totally free to not do this if that's something that doesn't make sense. And then the last step, deliverables, is where you make sure that they have access to everything. So they will have access to the mobile app already, but imagine that they say like they lost access, they lost their password. You can provide them access to the password in here as well. So sending them an email to have the password or a message. You can personalize access to the mobile phone. So they must have access to the messaging feature and access to the app, but the weight recording is personalized. You can eliminate that, as well as nutritional information of their recommendations is also personalized, and the food diary as well. And in here is where you can also send their recommendations by email. Imagine if they have access to the app, but they say like, yeah, can you please send me by email, because I'm feeling more comfortable when seeing everything in there. So you can send them this by email as well. And this is the meal plan or the recommendations that I have created in the step before. And this looks very small. I'm not sure why. But here is my patient recommendations and the information that I have sent out to them. So you can send this by email as well. And another thing that is really important for us is that after this meeting, when this meeting ends, you ask the question, when is the next time that you want to meet again? So knowing that ideally it's in a month's time. So you'll be suggesting, okay, so let's see each other at the end of March. So from the week 24 to 29, what is your availability? And you can also see your availability in here as well of this week, and you can schedule their appointment right away. And in here, you do not need to apply to the availability that you have set out. So you'll see that the availability you set out in your calendar is mainly for new bookings. Because when you are booking the follow-up appointments with your patients, you can choose any date that you want that suits you and the patient as well. So you can just schedule this for let's say 6 a.m. in a day that is not even for Nutrium Care. So you have the flexibility on that. So the availability that we ask you to set out is mainly for new bookings, because follow-ups is something that you talk with the patient and you decide what is the best date for that. Okay, did that make sense? Good. So the appointment is booked. What I'm going to do is close this meeting in this little flag up here, or in this button in here. So I'm now finishing the appointment. What I wanted to show you now is this step. So the patient appears here with an X. Let me just reschedule that so you can see it. Let me just yes. Let me just pretend here with the link. Okay, you can see here already that this client is currently not eligible. So this is something that we wouldn't even recommend you to do, to schedule an appointment with.
I don't know. I lost. Can you hear, Manuela? No, we lost you, Manuela. I think she's not. It's just me, or everybody is hearing Manuela?
I'm not hearing.
Also, okay.
No.
I think she needs to.
I-
Maybe she lost her connection. I don't know. Can you hear us?
And now?
Yeah, perfect. We were trying to tell you. Now it's perfect. So you can start maybe again this part. Okay.
Okay, so I was scheduling another appointment with this patient because to show you what it looks like when they do not have no longer benefits to Gym Pass. So they only have access. Imagine that appointment, the patient booked an appointment with you in January, and for some reason, by the end of February, they stopped having access to Gym Pass. That information is connected with Nutrium, and obviously we did not delete any kind of information regarding that patient, because that information only you and the patient have access, but we let you know they don't no longer have benefits, so they no longer have access to Nutrium Care and the appointments. This kind of appointments normally automatically expired around 12 hours before. I'm not sure the exact time, so I'll make sure to check that. So they automatically get canceled, so we wouldn't need to do anything. But imagine that for some reason that they have an appointment today, for example, at the end of the day, and their subscription expires 1 hour just before. Like that, this is really, really unlikely to happen. But the way that we tell is that we do not let you start this meeting because the patient doesn't have access to Nutrition Care. So when you see this or this, it means that the patient did not have access to these benefits and shouldn't be having access to the appointment. They also stop having access to the app, but you could send them, for example, a message that is then sent to their email saying like, hey, I noticed that you don't have access to the appointments anymore. Is this something that you will no longer have access to, or something that you will fix in a few time, so we can reschedule? But you wouldn't need to worry too much about this because this is not something that regularly happens. But if it does, we will let you know by this and not being able to start the appointment. Other than that, you'll be able to see that it's Nutrition Care standard, so they have access to all the benefits of Nutrition Care. Just checking here if there's something missing. No, that's it. Okay, so now we are going to configurations and preferences, like we were talking about. So in here, you can personalize the platform a little bit more. So the weight units, length, the energies, anything that makes more sense to you. In here, you can see when your patients have birthdays, so you can send them a message if there's something that you want to do, and the appointment system. You can also see Nutrium also links with Stripe, and you could request payments if you use this with other patients. So that's something that is not required here, but something that you can explore and do. And this is by default what they have access to the mobile app. And the app also sends notifications for the appointments with the link to join. And you can personalize the hours and the days of those communications. So you can have this 5 days or 3 days before, 1 day, or even 12 hours before. So you can personalize this how it best suits you. So this is interesting to keep, to remind the patient that they're going to have appointments. And in here is what you're asking, Carmen. So you can omit some of the questions from the nutrition assessment, and we have divided them in different sections. So for medical history, you can deselect these questions. For weight and height as well. And for any of the questions that we have, you can see here the question that is asked, and you can omit these questions for patients as you prefer. In here, we also always have the section for other information, which is an open field of anything that the patients want to write. And also, if you do have other forms that you normally use that is more aligned with you for a Google form or something, we do not have any strict restriction on that. We just want to make sure that you have all the information that you need and the patient has provided that information to you. So if you want to complement this or not use the nutrition assessment from Nutrium and you have yours, this is something that you can also do as well. Remember that email that I said that you can send? You can also personalize that email. So our default name is not very appealing. So you can change this name for nutrition appointment with, for example, follow up. So you can change this as the subject of the email and also the text of the email. So if you have, for example, content that you like to share with them, if you have your social media that has also useful content, if you have a blog, or we talked with someone this week that they have a podcast, and it's something that you can add here on your email to send to your patients. Just bear in mind that this is personalized to grab the patient email for every email that you send, so it makes it more personalized. So do not change this because it will not allow you to be personalized. And then in here, we also have access to a bunch of databases. You can personalize those databases that you want to appear. And that's pretty much it. To go through some of these pages really quick. So here you can see all of your patients, and we told you before that you can use this for other patients that you might have. So for Nutrium Care, you will be seeing this little briefcase. So it means that are corporate patients. So you can easily identify them, and you can also identify them by the workplace. So that's why it's important to create that workplace to keep everything organized. So you can see these are my patients from Nutrium Care. But you can have your other patients coming from your other projects that you have, and you can also organize them in here. And this is not a fixed thing. So you can have patients also associated with all workplaces, because Nutrium is not too restrict on this. It's just to help organization, but we truly recommend for them to keep in separate spaces. So you'll be able to see here that you have interacted with this client during this month, and you have not interacted with this client during this month. You can also see here some metrics. Since this is a dummy account, it doesn't have a lot of things, but it will once you start using on your account. I mentioned as well in some meetings that we are working on improving our content with something that you can provide your clients with. You can send it directly through the platform, through the messages, and you can download it as a PDF or an image. And we also have some ebooks that we have created, and also quick infographics that you are free to use with which one the clients that you want to use. In this step will be what we talked about, the messaging feature. So we recommend all the conversation with the clients to be through this platform. You can do this on a professional mobile app. So if you download the Nutrium mobile app and log in with the email that you have here, you will have the messaging feature over there. But this is really the place where we recommend you to reply to patients or send them messages. You can see here that here is a conversation with the patient that we have, and you'll be seeing a moment that each time that a new patient comes to your door, you are able to send them the pre-appointment questionnaire as well. One thing that not a lot of people do, but we also truly recommend, is once you have closed the conversation with the patient, you have resolved their questions or their follow-up, we recommend you to archive this message. So it's not eliminated, it's just organized in a different folder. So you know, okay, so I've replied to all of my patients during this day, so my tasks are clear. So once you reply to a patient and answer their questions, just archive this message, and if they answer you again, it will pop up in here again, so don't worry about it. But archiving is really interesting for you to keep everything organized and you're like, okay, my inbox is clear, I answered everyone, so I can close this topic now. And you can always reach these conversations in here in this section as well. One thing that you also notice is that once you update their meal plans, if that's something that you do, if you update their appointments, for example, if they cancel appointments, or if you reschedule or receive new bookings, Nutrium will also send an automatic message for the patient. So you do not need to notify them saying like, okay, so I rescheduled our appointment for this hour. So Nutrium sends this notification to the patient automatically for you whenever you do these kinds of alterations to their appointments. And you can really browse through any thing that you like in here: categories, workplaces. See, let me check if I talk with this patient, if I have checked down on Matthew, for example, and you can see here all the conversation that you had with them being automated or not. And if you say like, oh yeah, okay, I need to check up on him, you can click in here and send a message to that specific patient. So it really has the aspect of an email, because you need to select a category, you need to answer a subject, and then the message, but it's really easy and it helps you to keep everything organized. And for example, let's say that you want to send a message to all of your Nutrium Care patients saying like, hey, I have this new recipe, or I have this tip, or even I'm going to be away on vacation for the next 2 weeks. You might experience some I take some more time to reply to your message, but don't worry, once I come back, I'll make sure to reply to everyone. You can send a message to a group of patients, so a lot of people at the same time, and they will receive it as an individual message. So it's kind of like saving you time, but everyone feels like they are being taken care of. And if you see this message, this is something I will explain in a bit. It's because with GymPass, when they stop having access to the nutrition appointments, you will get that information here on the software, and it will prevent you from booking other appointments because that patient effectively does not have access to this benefit anymore. But you can send the message anyway to everyone that is tagged in here. Now, this step follow-up, this will be something that is really interesting as well. This is kind of a feed where you'll be able to see what your patients are doing. You can see here if they have added their physical activity on the app, if they have accessed the app for the first time at all. You can see here, you can ask them to register their meals throughout days, and you get that information in here as well. And they can also send you pictures of their foods that you can revise, and just a quick way to give them some kind of feedback. It's by dropping a like, where they get on the app saying like, hey, well, imagine if I'm their dietitian. So it will appear with my face saying like, I really enjoy your meal. Keep going. Keep up the good work. So it helps you to keep track on your patients with low effort. So you can just drop them a like. If you see something that's a little bit suspicious, you can send them a message directly through here as well, and ask them if everything is okay, or if they need something on your end. Once all of your patients start doing this, we know that some patients are more motivated than others. So some of them might do this on a regular basis. Others might have a little bit more trouble doing this. So it's really up to you and the patient if this is something that you want to do. In here in food is where you can see all of our food databases. You can browse through these products. You can see their macronutrients and nutritional information, and add your own foods as well. And also here add dietary supplements if that's something that you want to recommend. In here in recipes, we have a big database of recipes. So since this is a dummy account, they don't look so good, but you might have seen them on your platform as well. And we have a lot of databases from other colleagues. You can also create your own databases, and if you want to share them with the audience, you can. There's a few requirements for a recipe to be added to the community. So it needs to have ingredients, obviously, and a cooking method and some kind of information, but you can share that with the community or not, or keep them private. And you can also share them in your website. So in here, you can create the recipes using our databases, and then you can use this to enrich your clients' recommendations. One thing that is really time efficient is just browsing through these recipes, or, for example, organizing it. Let's say that I want some snack ideas, and we do not have snack ideas. We have, yes, some appetizers and side dishes, for example. You can like these recipes, and they get easily found in here in your favorites. So you can also create your own database of recipes through the recipes that are available here at the software, and then you'll have them in here. So don't forget to make sure to have all categories added, and you can see here the recipes. Nutrium also has a feature for payments. This will not be necessary for Nutrium Care, but if it's something that you want to add to other patients, that's something that you can explore later on. Here in equivalents, this is something much more used in European countries when it comes to nutrition. But if you want to provide them options for, let's say, different types of protein, you can add here different foods that amount to that same quantity of proteins to provide your clients. And last one is templates. So in templates, you can get access to our list of meal plan templates that are already created. You can create your own templates to also reuse with patients, but these templates are very simple that you can also adapt to each client in here, and you can see the macronutrient distribution, and then you use them when canceling a client. So this seems a lot, but you'll have time to explore which one of these. So these are the steps that will all come together during the appointment and during the steps of each nutrition appointment with Nutrition Care. So
I have to go, but real quick, when are we going to start getting patients? Is it still March? Is it like beginning March, end of March? Do you have an idea yet?
yes, I do have an idea, and we have set out with Gympass to open that on 6th of March. So next Wednesday. This is a soft launch, so we're going to make it available because the official communication and marketing communication will be at the end of March. So for example, today we launched in Latin America, and we had more people signing up than we were expecting without any kind of promotion, because the app is now available there. It will be a soft launch, so something that for everyone to feel the ground in and see how it works. They're going to receive the first bookings, but we only are looking for things to really kicked off at the end of March. But from the 6th, it will be live and will be available for people to book. From your end, is just setting up the availability, setting up the blog, and sending us the specialties, and then you are ready to receive bookings. And now you know what to do when you receive each kind of booking. And it's really fun if you're not totally comfortable with the platform at the beginning, so you can adapt this to what you're normally doing, get comfortable over time. That's totally fine by us as well. We do understand you're making a stretch here for us as well, so you make sure that you do what feels best for you at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Carmen, Jordan, all confusing? Are you good?
No, we're good. At least I'm good. But I do have 2 questions. I'm sorry. The first one is like liability and HIPAA compliance forms. You know, like typically in our private practices, we will, send out forms. So I noticed that wasn't part of like the onboarding for the patients. Can you go a little bit more in depth about that for me? And if there's any way for us to be able to add forms, maybe like I have my own liability insurance, obviously to cover me, but I think that most dietitians send forms for patients to sign prior.
Yes, 100% honesty is something that we are also learning, because in other markets that we're working on, everything is a little bit, people are, I don't know if it's less regulation or people are less aware of it, but it's something that we do not have into place in our platform. But if you do have yours, you're totally fine to send that to your patients, even though when people sign, and it's something that we as a company already also have been putting into place, because we also have the GDPR in Europe and other regulations in other settings, and everyone that signs up to the platform, let me see if I can share that without. So everything that signs up to the platform always clicks that the terms and conditions, and the terms and conditions already include that information in terms of data security, HIPAA compliance, the right to pull their data if that's something that they want to do. So they already agree to that, and they already know that kind of information. Now, if the conversation is everyone reads it, like, does everyone ever reads those? But there's something that is covered on our end when they enter the app. They already do that, and we have that online, and you can also revise that on the platform. You can see them in here at all times. Let me just show you. So in our platform, we have here a place for privacy and notifications, which is something that you can also personalize. And you can see here the terms and conditions from Nutrium.
Oh, okay.
And you can see here the privacy policy.
Okay. Perfect.
So the patient also does this when signing into the app, and everything is already in here. Let's say that instead of adding your own, you can say like, make sure that if you want to see that security and conditions, you can see these 2 links. But the patient has already done this on their end on the app. But you are totally okay if you send yours as well. That's totally fine. And this is also a push for us to have a more sophisticated way to add them to the platform as well.
Okay, yeah. So thank you. If I wanted to say send one extra thing, I'll review those documents to make sure they cover everything. But if I wanted to, would you recommend I send it through Nutrium, like through the email messages, or do I send it through like my Gmail account? What's the preference?
I would say that, for example, you can send that in the message where you accept the request. If it's an online link, it will work really well. So you say like, please revise the following links prior to our appointment. You can send that because they have, let me see if I have sent that to me. Your company appointment request. No, but I could show you how they look like. This will be it will look nice. Let me just show you an example of the email that the patient receives when you accept that request, because that is also useful to add. And I'm add here, please revise following link. And I'll be sending just an example just to show you how links would look like. And I need to send a link here, otherwise it won't accept. And I would recommend it to do here because it's really the moment that the patient will be paying more attention to that message. But after that, you have access to the messaging features. So you could send them an additional message if you prefer. Absolutely, yeah. So this is how it looks like. Oh, I wasn't sharing my screen before. Sorry. So this is again in Portuguese. I'm sorry about that, but it says like request was accepted from the date that they ask it, and this is a message from you, and the information is in here and the details of that meeting and also the link. So this is a good place where everything is organized, and they are drawn to this email because it's the email they'll be expecting once they get that request from you. So you can have this message saved, and then when you accept the appointment, just paste it in here. And you can see here the links work just fine. So if your form is online, that is totally fine as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Something super quick. For the food journal tracker, I noticed, is there a comment section that someone can like the patient can track additional things like symptoms or anything like that?
Yeah, there's my Robin. Absolutely fine, Robin. Thank you so much. Yes, so I can show you really quick on the app that I have in here. Let's do a food diary and let's add something. So I have here my so many meals. I can add here a database using our database of food. So I can choose here a product. So let's say that I have 1 container of yogurt, but I can also add a picture that I can take, or I can go through my gallery. And I can add here some comments. So this is a free section. So if you want, for example, the patient to keep a food diary, but let you know if they felt hungry afterwards, or if they felt too full, whatever, some kind of symptoms, I advise you to set out that with the patient, saying like, okay, so in the app, you'll be adding your foods, but also some other information that I want, and they can add that into the comment section. In the app, you'll be seeing that as associated with that meal. So you'll be seeing, let me check in here. So in the app, you'll be seeing like this. So the meals that they had, the photo, and then after that, below that, the comments of how they felt. Or if they do not want to use the database or the photos, they can just say like, oh, I had some chicken breast with some noodles, for example. And it's just a simple text that they send you to that. What is interesting in here is that because you can then go to this follow-up page with the patient and see exactly how each day was. And this can be something that you can during the appointment see with them. So let's say like, in this day, lunch and afternoon snack were not ideal. So how can we improve that? How can we make this better for next month, for example? So it's interesting that they add this organized in days, because then it's easier for you to also revise this with them during the appointments as well.
Thank you so much.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, it did. Just want to triple check. There's no other place for patients to like kind of take notes or comment throughout the day, right? It's only like after a meal or snack. Okay.
Yeah, they could send you a message, so you can send them a message saying like, okay, so this is for my follow-ups, and they can quickly send you a message like they would do through WhatsApp, for example. Is that easier for them just replying to that as a message, other than doing that on the food diary, for example? So they can do just like, so day 1, yeah, feel great. So day 5, no, I'm not feeling so good after 5 days, for example. So you can really find within the platform, find the best way to reach out to them and to communicate with them.
Okay, thank you.
Good. So I do not want to take more of your time. I thank you so much for your presence here, and we are available at any time. Through the software chat, you might have noticed a little green button on the side.
A green button, yeah.
Yeah, the
On
green
at the bottom of the screen. That's where
Yeah.
it'll reach me.
Exactly. So this is where Margarita is also available to clarify any doubts. So it is little button. It's a bit more quick than email, because we do have there an open chat. So you can just click in here and send us a message and ask any questions that you might have. And you can use this within the platform to reach out to us at any time as well. And